Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Leo. If Leo is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Fool. And we have this perfect little heart right on the outside. Found itself a perfect place right there on the outside of the bowl. So I kind of feel like this is sealed with a lot of love. All right, let's take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Yeah. Okay, so immediately, it's so pretty. It looks like a cup, a chalice, but it also looks like a tree. And it's mirrored, the chalice and the tree. The tree also looks like the roots, right? So we know that the roots of the tree look very much like the top of the tree without the leaves, right? And with all the branches and things. So it's a beautiful mirrored image, but it also has that chalice, the Ace of Cups, this beautiful vessel of emotional waters. And so, yes, this must be quite an emotionally potent time. That makes sense with the Fool. Kind of this feeling of losing your inhibition to hide away some of those emotions. I think they're just flowing freely, and there's a lot of purging going on. Okay, and I think that this is turning in from maybe some hurts, some pain, traumas kind of coming up, and you maybe for the first time in a long time expressing the pain that is involved in that more openly. It is not, it's a sense of not wanting to be contained. But as this process happens, there's a lightening, right, of mood, of just the energy of your life, the blockages feeling a little bit loosened. There's flowing energies, and I feel you coming into a place of great happiness behind all of this. And it's kind of like that really cathartic cry we need sometimes. I've had a couple today. I have been so weepy the last few days. And part of that, I think, is this eclipse coming up, the solar flares, just kind of the cycles of the moon, and not being well, right? I've also been sick. And I still am. So thank you. I appreciate you for being patient with me. I know my voice isn't the best. I know that there's some coughing and so on. So I do appreciate you putting up with that. But I do feel, there's that release of through the crying, maybe telling the person that you feel, maybe you have argued, or there's been some kind of disalignment, right? And talking about how you're feeling. And I think this has really been so helpful for you. And I feel this sense of great balance coming into place here. And I think, it is the gift of kind of unburdening ourselves. And so we also have the caduceus right here. I always forget caduceus. I've heard it both ways. But it is the snakes intertwined you can see it on like the medical thing, the staff. So I see this, and it is another sign of balance and of great power and knowledge coming into play. And so kind of that unification of spiritual and emotional intelligence with knowledge and intellectual intelligence. And this in the middle of the bowl seems so perfect. It definitely feels like you are in a place where you are communicating very clearly. You are, not getting lost in the spiral of emotions. You're quite aware. You are allowing yourself to feel how you feel, to be how you are, and trying not to judge that or contain it. And I think this is such a gift you have given yourself. And now we also see over here we have a J. Okay, so there's a J. We also have it's a smiley face, so a happy J there. We also have, let's see, it looks like two people over here, and they seem to be, it seems like courtship almost. We have a person here, hand out. This person looks like they are kissing the hand of this person. If you can see right there, the head kind of leaning over, kissing that dainty little hand there. And we also have a rose right here. Okay, so really it's interesting. It's coming up a little bit in my readings the last days, is this mystery of love, the agape. And I think this is very in line with the season change. We have this kind of blooming of the mystery, beginning of the mysteries. We know that if you know about the mythology of Persephone, leaving in the fall to descend and then returning in spring to bring life to the gardens of the earth. And so we are about the mystery now, and that is either side depending on what portion of the planet you're on. And I feel like there is a call to love, a call to unitedness, but also sensuality and flirtation. Definitely, I think there's a sense of desiring to be in love and lust, and kind of in that novel honeymoon kind of phase. And so I sense a lot of outpouring of love and desire in this next period of time. At least the stirrings of, right? So we also have some fish over here. And I know we just talked about in the last reading or the reading before that there will be coming into a time here, Scorpio, where you are having some real kind of financial wins. I really feel that this is going to be a year where you're making probably more money than you did last year. You are being, I think, more discerning about how you spend your money, maybe trying to put some away, paying down debts and this kind of thing, investing and so on. So I think, if you have not started in on a budget, this is a good time. Especially if you will be getting into these positions where maybe you have new work, or you've gotten a raise, or whatever it is, you started a business, a side business, and that is kind of bringing in some money. I think it's important to have a clear plan of like what you're going to do, instead of, and this is, my husband's really good at the financial planning. I'm good at paying the bills. I'm good at that kind of thing, but financial planning is under his purview. But I'm learning. I read over the plans. I see what we're doing there, and And it really is helpful. It's helpful to see it down on paper. It's helpful to have goals. And so, you can do this on your own. If you go on, one of the search engines, look for some like templates or subreddits or, whatever it is that you are looking for, or definitely going to like a financial planner, depending, it's that is something that's like a luxury, it sounds like to me, even just uttering it. But if you have the means and it's definitely worth having somebody who knows what they're doing help you out, right? So something to think about, definitely. Okay, let's see. Now we have a person here. I feel like we have a kind of satyr over here. You can see the head, the body, the legs. We also have another flower, but this one looks like maybe an older woman. She's wearing a dress. She has her hands out. She's holding a cup, and what is that? It looks like a little angel. It feels like almost kind of like a judgment. Kind of like with your higher thinking. Your guardian angel weighing out. I'm thinking, is this... It's judgment, temperance, judgment. But weighing out, I think, your decisions. I think that's really on your mind. Being precise about things. But I'm looking over here in the skirt, and we have a face. You can see the eyes, the mouth, right down here. The nose. But then I saw it a different way, and it looked almost kind of... I don't know, I lost it. Sometimes if you see something and then you see it the other, like you see it in a different formation, I can't find the original. My brain just sees what I've most recently seen. But so it does look like a gentleman, kind of almost like like something kind of scary. Maybe like some kind of apparition or a fiend of some kind, spiritual, right? Fiend, or supernatural. So I think that there's a person. It feels like an older person, maybe mom, maybe a teacher. I almost feel like this might be a teacher, or somebody who's a teacher, somebody in the community. But they have a real, almost temper, but it's very... It feels like they are very calculated because they've worked with kids for probably many years. And so I think they're very aware of how they present themselves and contain themselves. But I feel like there is just a sense of this real, almost like... Have you ever met somebody that it's not that they're possessed? I don't feel like it's that. But it's almost kind of like they sharply turn into something absolutely different. It's almost kind of like they're sharing, and I'm not talking about DID. So, that's not what I'm discussing here, which is dissociative identity disorder, what people kind of used to call multiple personality disorder. We're not talking about that, but I'm talking about like a mood that gets real, like kind of dark and harsh quickly, right? It ramps up so fast. It's not even a ramping up. It just like a switch is turned, or turned, a switch, yes, flipped, right? And so, yeah, I don't know this, and it feels kind of like, I don't know if you're maybe like, involved in some kind of, maybe this is at work. There's some kind of like committee or something. Maybe you volunteer. Maybe this is like I keep thinking like PTA, or you're on like some like you're on some board for maybe your town or something, your HOA or something like this, where you are involved with people in your community that you maybe wouldn't like socialize with under different circumstances, but you know this person, they just have a weird vibe, kind of almost just like they could snap, right? And so anyways, then we have them holding this weighing of something. So that's why I wonder if they're in a position where they're kind of making decisions about I don't know, things in the community, like the PTA, like school stuff, whatever it is. But I think witnessing this person in a position where they have some kind of power is kind of off-putting. I also think that, you're kind of mirrored in this energy where not only are you making decisions maybe in this position, you're also like in a committee or whatever, but I feel like there's a sense of like you kind of really making instinctual decisions about how this person makes you feel, because I feel like it's almost kind of like you meet people, right, in life, and I do this. I have to think about it for myself because I have PTSD, CPTSD actually, and so I feel unsafe around a lot of different things. That maybe it's not a proportional reaction all the time, but sometimes we just meet people. They have something about them. It's nothing in particular, but you just know. Like there's something that doesn't feel completely safe about this person, and I'm not gonna push it. You and you keep an eye on them, not because you find them very interesting or you're drawn to them or anything. You just know this person feels like a loose cannon a little bit. This person feels like I don't really trust whatever they're doing there in the background. So I'm going to keep an eye on them. And I think that's a good idea. Not to say that this is somebody who's doing anything bad or they're a bad person or, unsafe person necessarily. But I think there's just something that it almost feels kind of like this, like archaic, primordial, energy that is like on them. Like it's like a, not, I almost think like an ancient evil, but it's not, like an anger, like a rage. There's like an ancient rage there. And it feels quite powerful. It feels like a powerful thing. So we also have the satyr over here. And I think this has to do a lot with this full energy. We are going into, or we are in the new season, spring and fall, and lots to celebrate. I feel like this is a time where, we have to kind of draw on those very core fertility energies, that kind of fiery element that flows through us, the life bringing element, the thing that keeps things animated, right? Drawing upon that, getting the fires burning, so that we may have, a successful crop of our life, a successful next season, this season, next season, the season after that, but also a good harvest, right? So if you're in the fall, this is more about reaping that harvest. And so Yes, I do. I feel like it is a time for enjoyment, letting loose a little bit, putting your intentions. I feel that it's I find myself praying a lot this time of year. I pray often anyways, but I think because there is the emerging beauty in life beginning again, seeing the things kind of pop up through the mulch and the leaves and the snow and all of that, and feeling the stirrings. I find myself in this kind of contemplative prayer quite often, and so I do. I think it is a beautiful time to help usher in these energies and to commune with them. And I think that's really such an important aspect of this as well, is taking the time to commune with your surroundings, taking time to commune with, the outdoors, but also inside. And we know this is the case because, it is the tradition in probably many cultures is the spring cleaning and the fall cleaning, be preparing, winterizing, and so we know these are when the energies need to be moved around. It is time to open things up, to clear them out, to get rid of all that stagnant energy that has kind of grown in our times of the winter. And then, as we get into fall in the southern hemisphere, preparing yourself for these colder months, going a little bit slower, and maybe being indoors more often, and or maybe less. I don't know. Maybe it's a reprieve from the heat, so you're outside a little bit more. But whatever it is, these are beautiful transitional, and we know at our core, right? We follow the seasons in mind, body, soul, if we understand it or not. And it is something that should be celebrated, and even if you don't necessarily feel any spiritual draw to it, which is fine, it is fun to find reasons to celebrate. It's fun to find reasons to have, special dinners and a bonfire, or, whatever it is that you do, planting your flowers and spending more time, out of doors, and going on pilgrimages. I don't know. I'm thinking more of in the fall for you from the southern hemisphere, but go here. We do things like we like to go on little day trips to apple orchards and pick fruits and pumpkins and things like this. So I think that this is also a beautiful tradition to travel a bit to. Now you could be growing these things yourself as well, but it's something fun about making a little ordeal of it. So anyways, I hope that you are finding ways to celebrate. And we also have this smiley face down here, which I love. It seems like such a happy time for you. And we have that beautiful tree that we talked about. And really with the setting down some real roots in your life. I just feel a confidence in you, Leo. I think that it really feels like, you maybe were worried for a while about what you were going to be doing in the last couple years. And, with the disruption that we all were in a few years ago, and all of the uncertainty and just, it's just the lack of socialization and so on. I feel like especially signs like Leo, affected deeply, because, kind of really forced I mean, if you think about putting like a lion in a cage, right? A sense of kind of not being able to be out in the world in the way that you maybe need to be, right? And so I think a lot of contemplation during that time, trying to think like, what does my life really mean? Or what is the meaning of my life? What is the path that I should be on? Am I doing the things that are very meaningful to me? Am I living in my authentic being, and so on? And I feel like, you've had to adjust things like a lot of us have. And I do believe that this is kind of the beginning of that building up, and I feel like it's taking hold, and there's confidence here. And again, we have the Ace of Cups, so I feel like it's just this time of emotional growth as well, and a real evolution of self. I also feel like there's this draw to camping. Oh, and as I say that, I see the campsite and a tree and a little bird, and we have a little flower there. Very idyllic feeling. But I looked at this, and then we have a coyote or a wolf howling at the moon there, right? And then I also have a little duck, and I have a pony up here. So I can imagine kind of this desert scene, but I do feel there's a sense, or maybe not the desert, because we do have the lake there, but or like the duck that needs a lake, or a watered area. So I do kind of on the range. Let's say on the range, okay? So I do feel like this kind of draw to the wilderness, but wide open spaces. I feel like there's just a sense of needing to kind of be unbound, right? To be able to roam freely in your mind and your spirit. And I feel I draw towards this kind of sleeping outside. There's nothing, you take it for granted, really, that, the comforts of being in the house and whatever. But when you do go sleep outside, if you're in a tent or on a boat, or whatever it is, you sleep differently. You're communing differently with your environment. The sounds and the feeling, the atmosphere of it, and sometimes we need that. We need to switch it up, get out there and be. I've been thinking about this. I don't know what came up for me. And as I said, sleeping outside, and I said on a boat, and I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I guess if you sleep on the deck of the boat, right? But yeah, I have this question that keeps coming up in my meditations or my contemplations, that this idea of what happens when you transition on water, and that is to say that you pass away, right? What is the death process like when you are on open water? If you're on a boat, if you are, like, I don't know, on some kind of raft or swimming or whatever, not the actual physical, the physical aspects of this process, but thinking, and the experience of it must be different. I don't know why. I have no idea. I didn't really ever thought about it. But But then I have this dream, you know, and I'm sorry, I'm going into it's these visuals are coming into my mind. I've always had this dream of when, and it's kind of a dream. It's kind of wishful thinking. First, I really hope that when I transition, I'm not wearing shoes, no shoes, no socks. Also, although you know it maybe won't be the case, being outside and being outside near water, right? Not in the water, but near it. And looking, facing up and looking at open sky and in the grass and all this kind of thing. And I've had this dream for a long time throughout my life. And it doesn't, you know, I've talked about this probably quite a lot on the readings. I'm not one to be, I'm not afraid of death. I don't lament the idea of transitioning. And that's just because I've lived in such proximity to death, and I've had my own near-death experiences, serious ones. Once I was in a coma, actually. But I don't know what it is, and this brought this up, this idea of the openness, and to be on water. I don't know. And maybe this is the poet in me, right? Feeling that there is something, there would be something moving, you know, the motion of the water and the body, you know, releasing itself of animation and so on. Whatever this is, whatever it looks like. But yeah, something to think. Sorry to get morbid on you, but sometimes, you know, I just have to go down these thought tunnels that I have. So anyways, Leo, let's take a look at the lightness of being affirmation cards. These are the earth element cards. I feel like I have all 4 of them, but now I have to go and look. I know I have the fire and water as well, so I'm sure I do have air. I'm gonna stop where it feels right. I love these cards. They're beautiful, by the way. They absolutely are. Look at how they're like paintings. And this one says, divine will, harmony. Meditate upon your sphere of radiance and let light permeate your mind. Nice. Yes, I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. Leo, I'm going to tell you I love you because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so very much. And if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I'd love to hear from you. I have the post up that I like to put up every once in a while. It is over in the community section, and it is for people with small businesses that have services or like a channel, any kind of channel on YouTube or any of the other platforms. Please go over there, advertise yourself. You all give so much to myself and to my husband. Shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot. That's my husband Paul over there. You give so much of yourself to us and share your time with us and support us, and we appreciate you. We love you. So if we can, you know, kind of help make a space for other people to advertise, and you know, if we can help get you some subscribers or some customers, or, you know, people eyes on your work and stuff, absolutely such an honor to be able to do that. So I have that post up, and also if you want to go over to Dove and Serpent Tarot, Paul also has a community post up, the same one, and you can go over there and put your info on his as well. While you're over there, check out one of his readings, or a lot of them, and yeah. So definitely. And if you don't have anything to post, go check it out anyways. There's a lot of cool people on there doing really interesting stuff. I mean, every time I make this post, I love it because I get to subscribe to a bunch of channels, see new people's work, but also just so interested in the diversity of services people are doing. So that's really cool to think about as well. All right, Leo. Thank you again. I love you. Good night.